So recently, the role of you becoming a sound engineer just unexpectedly fell on your lap. Maybe you're serving at a local church and you were just trying to figure out how to bring up the volume on the lead mic. Now everyone refers to you when anything needs to be brought up. Or you might be a part of a band and you were the first one to figure out how to connect the mic to the mixer and the mixer to the speaker. Now your whole band refers to you as the sound guy. This might be really overwhelming for you, or you might be really excited to take on this challenge. But regardless of the situation, you clicked on this video for one reason, because you're willing to try. And guess what? You're at the right place. Today, I'm going to be teaching you the 6 steps that you need to take in order for you to start your sound engineering career. Hi, my name is Toby, and this page is all about audio. So let's get right to it. The first step in order for you to become a sound engineer is to determine exactly where you will be sound engineering. Sound engineering is something that needs to be practiced, and the more that you practice, the more progress you'll make. So you need to find a primary location where you'll be able to actually practice sound engineering, right? So if you click this video, you probably already have a location, give or take. Maybe it's at that local church, or maybe, you're in a gigging band or you're helping out a gigging band, and, they need a sound engineer, they need a sound guy that's setting up the audio when they do their gigs at the different locations that they may be at, right? Or if not, maybe you want to start off at a local recording studio, right? Where you can intern for free. And yes, I said for free, because starting for free sometimes is the best way for you to kick up something off and just, get that momentum that you need in order for you to get paid later. Or maybe you want to work with a AV company and you get a job working with an AV company. The important thing is that you find somewhere where you can actually sound engineer, right? Because this is going to be the place where you gain all the skills, you learn and you make mistakes and you grow, all those skills. This is going to be the place where you're able to do that. The second step is going to be finding a mentor and finding support. All right. When I first started sound engineering, I wasn't really that good. And I started at a church, and sometimes my pastor would hire a sound engineer to come, fine tune the sound. And every single time he did that, I would exchange contact information with that sound engineer. And I would really contact them once in a while just to pick their brain. Or if I was like in a situation and I didn't know what to do, I would reach out to them and call them and ask them for help. Or sometimes they would have to come back. But having that mentor and having that support was so helpful. So same thing that you can do. Maybe your church or your pastor isn't able to hire a sound engineer right now. Maybe you go to another church and you connect with a sound engineer there. Wherever you find a sound engineer, it will not hurt for you to exchange contact information with them and just try your best to connect with them so that you can use them as a resource later. And another thing that you can do is also offer your time and your energy and say, hey, I would love to work with you on your next gig, or if you're going to be doing any gigs that you might need a helping hand, I would be available to help you. Another thing that you can do is connect with groups. So that's something that I'm a big advocate for. Like Facebook groups or Reddit groups or just like online forums. That's something that's been really helpful for me. I'm in all 3 of those. There's a website called, I believe, Pro Sound Web. I will add the link to the description. But that website has been so helpful for me. But, now I've migrated to Facebook. Facebook has a support group for anything, seriously. So you can find a support group there, and you can also find information on Reddit. And it's just really helpful for you to find resources that will be able to just help you when you need it at the moment, right? And just always just gaining that relationship and growing that relationship with different sound engineers from different walks of life. It's really helpful, and it helps you to be even more confident knowing that you have that support. Step number 3 is going to be to get familiar with standard audio equipment. And what I mean by that is understanding the different types of equipment that you're going to potentially encounter or use. So for example, understanding why a SM SM58, a Shure SM58 is such a great mic for live sound and why so many people use it. Why is a dynamic mic in general such a great mic for live sound? Or understanding the differences between a monitor and a speaker, the what a mixer does, the difference between an analog mixer and a digital mixer, and understanding the different cables that we have, XLR cables or TRS cables, quarter-inch cables, TS cables. Understanding those differences will really help you on the long run. And one way for me that was really helpful was by reading books. I know some people are not readers, but reading books, in my opinion, collapses time. The thing that would have taken me months or even years to learn, sometimes lifetimes to learn, someone has already put in a book, and then I'm able to take in that book, read that book, and learn so much things that will help me just move faster, right? So I have some books that I've read in my description, links in my description, that you can check out that will be helpful for you as well on your journey. And another thing that everyone does these days is watching videos like you're watching right now, watching different videos and concepts that will help you to understand audio and the equipments that we usually use. So I'm going to use this moment to ask that you like and subscribe this video. And if you are interested, this page can be a resource for you over time. My goal is to make sure that you have the toolkit that you need in order for you to be a successful sound engineer. So step number 4 is going to be to start learning the fundamentals of audio and sound. And what I mean by that is understanding the different concepts such as compression, what is equalization, what is phase, what is delay, what is reverb, and how do these things apply to audio, right? You need to understand those things. You need to understand the difference between mono and stereo, right? And like I said in the last step, reading is going to help you do this really quick. Do it faster, at least. It's going to help you do it faster. Maybe not really quick, but it's definitely going to help you do it faster. Understanding these concepts is really going to help you. And then taking those concepts and then applying them, finding moments where you can maybe go to your setup at your church or your band setup in your garage and testing out these things and understanding, oh, this is what compression actually does. This is what reverb sounds like, So understanding those concepts are really going to help you. And don't feel like you have to understand everything at once, but the more that you ingest and learn these things, the better that you're going to get over time. You have to keep on trying, keep on reading, keep on learning. Till today, I am still reading, I'm still learning, I'm still watching, I'm still listening, because it's an important thing, because the muscle that you don't use, you lose. Step number 5 is going to be to appreciate music and those who create it. And this step is so important to me. It's really dear to my heart because I used to be a musician. I started off playing guitar and singing, and it was so important for me that I could properly hear myself well, and that I was able to give my best performance. And if you want to believe it or not, the sound engineer has a big part to play in the musician's performance or the way that they play their instrument, right? Because if they can't hear themselves, or if the quality of the way that they hear themselves is bad, then it really affects their performance, and it makes them focus more on that than their actual performance. I really believe the best sound engineers are those who used to be previous or those who are current musicians, right? It just makes the biggest difference, right? When you know and you understand that, for example, a bass player has been practicing all week and they have a 15-minute gig or a 30-minute gig, however long, and they've been practicing for weeks for it, you understand that it has to be perfect. Like, the sound has to be the best that it can possibly be, because you understand how much work the musician has put in for this very moment. And every single moment that happens is so important. If you don't appreciate music, if you don't appreciate musicians, you're just not going to do your job right. right? You're just going to see them as just people who are bothering you. Because trust me, musicians are going to complain. They're going to say things like, oh, I can't hear this, or can you fine tune this? Can you add more treble to this? They're going to ask you questions and things like that. And if you don't appreciate them, you're just going to see them as a problem. You're going to see them as someone who's bothering you or just trying to make your job harder versus seeing them as someone that you are serving. The sixth and final step is to start understanding the needs of your audience. You know, I've recently heard someone say that when you're in the sound engineering business, you're in the business of customer service, and I couldn't agree more. This is so important because what usually happens is that when you become a sound engineer, you start thinking about what you can hear and how you perceive things, and you start being so self-conscious about you, and you really have to stop doing that if you're going to be a really good sound engineer. You have to remember that when you're sound engineering, it's not an audience of one. You actually have an audience. You actually have a band, and they need to be satisfied, right? So when you understand the needs of your audience, it makes the biggest difference. It helps you to go towards the right path of sound engineering. So for example, if you understand the demographic of your audience, like maybe in your demographic, it's a lot of older people and they don't want to really hear things too loud. They don't want things too loud. It's important to keep that into consideration, right? It's not about you. It's not how you feel, it's about how they feel. Or maybe you're with a younger audience and they don't necessarily have an issue with a little bit of bass in their chest when things get loud. Like that's what they actually want. You might want it a little lower, but it's not about you. It's about your audience, right? Understanding decibel levels and understanding when things are just entirely too loud or things are not, or maybe too low, you know, making sure that your audience can hear properly and your band is satisfied. Like these things are so important, and you have to start keeping these things in mind and putting them into consideration as you're learning and as you're growing, right? Because they're going to help you on the long term. If you benefited from this video in any way, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. This channel is dedicated to making sure that you succeed in your audio journey. All the equipment that's in my studio, as well as the equipment that I recommend for beginner sound engineers, is linked in my description.